Welcome back to Hiking with Kathleen from Sleeping Giant Provincial Park. Part 2. Join us as we explore Silver Islet. We put our kayaks in the water and we explored the water just outside of our campsite at Marie Louise Lake. And then we made plans to trek up the Sleeping Giant mountain up to the knees. Well, we'll give you our perspective of that journey, and then you can decide if you want to do it as well. It's been a challenge, that's for sure. And we're running out of water. And we probably have about, I don't know, 3 hours. 3 hours to go, including the bike ride. Good morning. I'm sitting out here in the duck blind. It's been sitting up, set up for 2 days. I put in some mosquito netting so it will keep the bugs out, which is a really nice touch. And now I'm facing, oh, I can see all the bugs are on the outside. Oh my God. Well, they can sense the heat inside here. But I'm facing the lake here. And this side is the forest. This morning Miley had a ball because every time she whined to go outside, I called her up on the bench in the dinette to sit beside me, because looking out to the lake, we had a mother mallard duck with her ducklings on the shore right outside of our trailer. And Miley was so intrigued, ears flat, looking stealth over the bench, the top of the bench. After the ducklings left, then a Canada goose pair came along with one gosling, so that's probably not a very good sign. They probably had some predation. But Miley was really intrigued with being able to watch those things from inside the trailer. So I'm going to sit here quietly and just see what I can find. So just to give you an idea of what Shannon and I did today, among other things, we went for a drive in order to find the trailhead for the Kabeyun Trailhead, which is where you start the trail we want to hike in order to go up to the Sleeping Giant's knees. That's the high point. We're planning to do that tomorrow morning. So we're quite looking forward to that. We also had a chance to check out Silver Islet, and we thought that was a really cool place to go. Checked out the general store. We had to wait until noon for it to open up, but that gave me lots of time to have a look at some mergansers that were in the harbor. People were waiting around because some of them were going on harbor boat cruises. Now, one of the things that we did find, and we were kind of hopeful it would be a different story, is we really enjoy going to visitor centers, like for provincial parks. And there was a note that said that the visitor center wasn't going to be open until July 3rd. We will have been here for 8 days by July 4th, which is the day we're leaving. So we're very disappointed that, I guess, somehow either staff shortages or whatever it was that happened has led to not having the main event that we would want to be a part of, which is going through the interpretive center, open until like the day before we leave. So we thought with Sleeping Giant being the size that it is and having such a rich diversity of wildlife here, that's something that would be a priority to have that open for us. So anyway, we did get into the visitor center because I guess it opened today. I don't know if it was the only day it's been open, to look at the park store that's inside there. Normally it's run by the Friends of Sleeping Giant, Friends of Pinery. And again, I must say we were very disappointed because we've been to some really fabulous ones besides the ones at Algonquin and Pinery. McGregor Point, which we visited earlier this year, May's Provincial Park, which we visited about a week ago. It was really great for providing information about the wildlife in the area. And we just found that, we can't even get to that until the day we're packing up to leave. So we just, I guess, had hoped for more than what we were being offered as campers. And we're not going to come back to this park, and it's not because of that for sure. It's because from where we live, it's a lot of effort to get here. And there's a lot of other beautiful areas in Canada we haven't been to. So anyway, so that's something we were disappointed about. We are going to go up and do that hike tomorrow. We're quite excited about that. Part of it is hiking, part of it is cycling. So we'll be cycling from here to get to an area where you have to leave your bikes because then the climb becomes too big, too great. I guess it's about 21 kilometers from the campground park office to get to the trail and back, so to where the destination is. So anyway, we're really quite looking forward to that. And we want to get out and paddle again tonight. We tried our hands at kayaking around the Marie Louise Lake yesterday, and we're going to do that again tonight. The water's nice and calm this time, so that's a great thing. Okay, so we're going to give this a whirl. We're on the Marie Louise Lake, and it's a little bit windy out here, but it's beautiful. So we're going to try this out, and this will be our first crack at putting our kayaks into the water. Shannon's just on the shore, just getting herself ready. because we're not going against the wind now. So yeah, we'll try our luck a little bit later. Maybe the wind will die down, as it often does later in the day. And if not today, we'll come back out tomorrow, because now the kayaks are all put together. Shannon just put both of them together. Today was a big chore day. We did our laundry, considering we've been camping for about 2.5 weeks. So they have laundry facilities here. We always bring lots of clothing and extra sheets and all of that. And then we filled up our water tank again in the trailer so that we don't end up running dry with fresh water. And so after getting all that stuff done, we thought we'd go for a nice paddle. And then we saw the whitecaps. But anyway, we'll try our hand at it later. This is so much easier going back to our campsite. The wind is at our... So that is our dinner.
Very good.
So we're on our way. Shannon and I are taking our bikes, and we're going to ride from the campground to and beyond the trailhead. And from there, we have a total of about maybe 6 kilometers of hiking along the trail to get to the top of, not the friendly giant, but the sleeping giant. So anyway, so we're quite looking forward to that. Beautiful day, very comfortable temperatures, and we'll show you the scenery along the way.
I'm not used to biking. It's my first pedal of the year.
Yeah, this is our first time out on the bikes for 2023. You don't want to do this on a 10-speed. It's too bumpy. Mountain bikes are the only real way of traveling here. I've covered up everything, because now we have to walk, because it's pretty steep and we want to make sure we make it up the mountain. So anyway, we're covered up so we're not mosquito bitten. They're swarming us. So we're wearing our mosquito hoods and our bicycle helmets. I'm doing it the other way so that my bicycle helmet is under my mosquito netting, and the reason is
it holds it out for my eyes so I can see. It's kind of like wearing my baseball cap. Whenever you stop, the bugs are merciless. Are we on your campsite? Are you guys just taking a break like us? Yeah. Are you trying to get mosquito free out here? Yeah. Yep. Okay, so here's the situation. The bottom part of the GoPro broke off. Those mounting loops that are found at the bottom of the GoPro, they broke off as I was riding along, so I was only able to record part of the journey. We are now at the 0.9 kilometer part where we have that much more distance to cover to get to the sleeping giant, I guess the junction. So we're hoping that means we're near the top, but we don't know about that. So there's a bike rack here. So when you bike in from the campground, it said that we had traveled something like 5.6 kilometers from the parking lot. So you figure that's about 13 kilometers, plus we came from the campground. So okay, so we've been having some problems with the camera batteries with the GoPro. And we're just tuckered out, to be honest. But we've done a really good job so far. We just had a bit of a rest here. Shannon, what do you want to do? Do you want to see how close we are to the top? Because, I mean, I see blue sky, so I'm assuming we're not too far, but I don't know.
Okay.
So this trail's really rugged, and we just haven't really had a good chance to pull out the GoPro. But I'll try to do that from time to time now, just to give you some sense. It also has a horizontal leveling lens, so you really have no idea how steep this is. Yeah. Okay, we'll push off. Oh my God, it says 2 kilometers.
I know.
Oh my God. Well, then let's just have another break.
Yeah.
So we're having one of our rest stops. What do you think of it? Yep, our thoughts too. Unbelievable. So this has been a very grueling hike. Shannon, do you have a watch on? Mm-hmm. What time is it?
12 o'clock.
So we left our campsite at about 8 this morning, and it's noon. We ran into a fellow who had his camera equipment out, and he said that there was about another 30 minutes to get to the top. This looks pretty good, and we have another 4 hours to get back. So we're going to make our way back, but we're going to take in the views while we can. It's been a challenge, that's for sure. And we're running out of water. And we probably have about, I don't know, 3 hours. 3 hours to go, including the bike ride. We're so excited. Shannon just saw the bikes. And that means the dreaded hiking part is over. Which doesn't mean we're almost finished, but the hiking part is.
Hey, babe. We did it.
We each have about a sip of water left. But anyway, we're happy to be pushing off. Anyway, here we go.
Good morning. So this is our last day at Sleeping Giant Provincial Park, not counting tomorrow. Tomorrow's the actual day we're checking out, and today we're going to slowly pack up and get ourselves ready for driving down to Lake Superior Provincial Park tomorrow. So yesterday was the day that we cycled and hiked Sleeping Giant, and by the time we got home, and it was almost 8 hours later, we left our campsite at 8 in the morning. It's about 4 kilometers to ride from the campground up to the parking lot for the trailhead, for the Kabeyun Trailhead. And then it's 5.6 kilometers to cycle from the parking lot to the actual footpath that you take. And the reason you can't cycle that whole way is because the incline becomes more severe, and the bike path from the parking lot is also severe. In fact, Shannon and I both wiped out on our bikes. Yep. I landed on my knee, so I'm favoring that, and I was favoring it yesterday during the hike. And then Shannon landed on her hip. I didn't even know that she'd fallen. She saw me fall because she was just ahead of me. And it's just because you sometimes have to stop quickly to kind of judge the rocks that are on the pathway that you're trying to clear. So anyway, and she wiped out, but I stopped after I realized she was no longer following me. And when she arrived, she said that, she had fallen. So it was very rugged. We felt pleased with ourselves. We'll talk a little bit more when Shannon's here. But it was a rough trail. That's for sure. Anyway, I'm sitting out here in the duck blind. Yesterday morning, I had the most amazing vision. I was looking out the trailer to the calm water, and there was a pelican not far away. Well, this is before we were going to take off on our bike ride. So what I did is I rushed, gathered my equipment, went down to the shore, but I saw somebody's dog was running through the water by that time. So you're not supposed to have your dogs off leash in the city where we live or in provincial parks. But anyway, who knows, maybe they were trying to get their dog some exercise because they were packing up for a long drive today. But anyway, and then we just headed out after that. But it's just so beautiful. The water is so nice and calm. That's the part we love most about Sleeping Giant, is this wonderful sight. And the birds that are right around the site or right in the campground. So anyway, I'm having my coffee. I'm in the duck blind, and I'm looking forward to being just bug-free in this zone because it was very buggy yesterday. Yes, I had my pug shirt, and yes, I had it zipped up the whole time. Even on the bike ride on the road, I had to have it zipped up because there were big flies following me. Every time I unzipped to get a little bit of fresh air, oh my God, they were right around me. And I'm talking big flies, like, I don't know, horse flies, deer flies. Anyway, I'm bug-free in this duck blind because this is mesh that covers all of the zippered openings. So I welcome you to continue tuning in to see the beautiful sights that I'm able to find this morning. Welcome to our tea time after dinner. So we are actually just on the doorstep of taking off. Tomorrow morning is our pull-out day. And so we wanted to give you what we think of as an overview for our experience here at Sleeping Giant. I've had a chance to provide you with a little bit of feedback over time. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Shannon so that she can share with you some of her views in terms of things that were your highs and lows of staying here at Sleeping Giant.
First of all, I gotta say, I was shocked with the site. I was hesitant because when booking the site, it said there was a steep incline and challenging. And I said to Kathleen, I said, oh, I don't think I can back that in. That's going to be a nightmare. And she said, just book it, just book it. There wasn't much left to choose from. So we did so, and we got here, and it was actually, a decline. You go down, and then it's a lakefront view. So that was a nice surprise. So I was glad that you forced me to follow through with booking this. The view is excellent here. Cons about the site, well, the park in general is the bugs. The mosquitoes they get to you after a while. But I mean, it is very beautiful here. Regarding our journey up Sleeping Giant to the top of the mountain, which is the knees of the giant, it was really, to be honest, beyond my physical ability. I'm still sore from that. And from falling on my hip, of course. Yeah, it really taxed me. I took one large bottle of water, extra large bottle of water, and it wasn't enough. I actually needed 2 of those. It was so steep in spots. I'm 5'2", and if I did not have hiking poles, trekking poles, I wouldn't have been able to do this. It was very challenging for joints, knees and hips, for sure, for shorter stature people. I was ready to turn around at the junction, was it? But I know Kathleen is in better physical condition than I am. I have great cardio, but the endurance of that trail was really taxing on me, and we were overheating with the bug protection and that. The vistas were great. I have been on nicer. I guess what it is hiking mountains isn't for me. I love beautiful trails. I love water features. I love all of that. I don't need to climb a mountain to prove myself to have a nice vista. It's not for me at this stage in the game. But I did do it. And regarding the area, it's beautiful. Terry Fox was a highlight for me. The monument, Kekabeka Falls, was nice to say that I've seen it. And then the nature center here, it was good. Once it opened, it was good. That's my take on this.
So I think maybe one thing in closing, when we're talking about the hike and the cycle ride up to Sleeping Giant, here's what we noticed. Most of the people were in their 20s and 30s. We aren't. I'm 59, and Shannon is turning 55 in the fall. We didn't see anybody in our age bracket that was also attempting that climb. And so I know that we had a chance to hear from other individuals as we were enjoying the trek or trying to conquer that mountain passage. And they said that, they'd been up there a couple of times, maybe they're locals, and they've come back and tried different routes. But again, all except for one individual who was a man who was probably in his, I don't know, maybe his 50s, maybe something like that, 60s. And he'd been up there a few times. So the thing is, it's a great and probably challenging mountain for all age groups. But you've got to wear the proper footwear. And so here are some of the drawbacks that we saw. People who were not wearing good footwear because they were maybe touring the area and they thought that was a good thing to tour. If you don't have a bike, you've got to go that 5.6 kilometer distance on foot and then back. So that's one problem. The other is people weren't necessarily prepared for the grade and climbing over mountains. And you're not doing it on hands and knees. It's not like that. But you are doing it with trekking poles, and there's very steep staircases for you to climb up. Some of that footage, we think, came through in the limited amount of GoPro video because of my mishap with the camera breaking off at the bottom. And so we hope that came through, that you could see the level of difficulty, but we would never discourage anybody from giving that a try. Just manage your expectations. It took us 8 hours. We had these next door neighbors that are from Thunder Bay. They left yesterday, Lisa and Chris, and they gave us such great pointers about the area, the Terry Fox Memorial, things like that. And they would be in their 50s, and they've done it on a few different occasions. So that's the kind of thing, like every day they were here, they were either on their kayak, their paddleboard, mountain bikes, so they were very active people. But for the regular folks, I think it would have been extremely challenging, and people were bringing dogs. Oh my God, I felt so sorry for the dogs, because if you don't bring enough water for yourself, it's probably your best friend that's going to suffer the consequences. And as I say, we ran out of water. I had a water bladder that I wear around in a pouch, and then Shannon was telling you about her big water bottle. That's the thing, if you're going to attempt that, great. It's an exciting thing to do after you've done it. It's more exciting after you've done it, but just make sure you bring enough water. And the temperature was only about 20 or 21 degrees yesterday.
So it's not that it was steaming hot, but we still, you know, we're feeling rather dehydrated. So I think that's the conclusion. We really, really loved our stay for so many reasons. But I think it's just we're hoping that maybe the next park will not be quite as buggy with black flies. We know mosquitoes are here to stay until the first frost. But anyway, we really enjoyed our time. We had an amazing site, and we thank you for following us. If you're interested, our next adventure is taking place at Lake Superior Provincial Park at Rabbit Blanket. That's the campground. There's 2 campgrounds for Lake Superior Provincial Park. We were there 2 years ago. We're not going to be trekking up Peat Mountain, which we did when we were here 2 years ago. But we are so excited to get back in our kayak and paddle around Rabbit Blanket Lake. So I hope you join us. See you next Tuesday. Bye for now.